Okay, welcome! As you can see, for those Sanders Sides fandom, we're doing What If Deku Was Janus Sanders. Okay. Izuku is an orphan. Okay. Izuku being an orphan, Izuku was the maturest and also having 8 roommates. He was the mom, basically, and Pan was the dad. But they don't see each other as lovers and as more as a friend and someone who helps him with the other kids / sides. Izuku basically does all the chores, but Logan helps sometimes and teaches the others. Pan helps with the chores and making food. Roman is a theater kid who loves Disney, but helps a bit. Virgil is shy and stays by Izuku's side, but likes to stay in his room most of the time. Remy was always out with his friends after school, so he would be home kind of late. And Emily, I think that's how you pronounce it, was always home on online school, so he take care of baby Thomas. Yay, baby Thomas. Izuku's abilities and appearance. He can easily manipulate someone with his words. He can turn into people that he knows. He can also make strings to control people, but he can also use them as a weapon. He can turn into a yellow snake and has a connection to snakes. Izuku is cold-blooded, so he needs constant heat, and luckily his lover does that for him. And just so you know, it's going to be Remus. Why Remus? Because I think it's cute. It's flippin' adorable. And I just love the ship. Oh, and also, What If Corpse is coming back, even though I only have 1 page. Okay, I'm also doing What If Deku Was Bad Boy Halo and Skeppy. So yeah, and What If Deku was Sapnap? I do not see this anywhere else, and that's why I was kind of like, wow, I'm doing something original. I'm pretty sure, no one has done this. I'm pretty sure no one has done this. And What If Rambo is coming back? It's coming back. Just you wait. I'm probably gonna record a lot. But What If Rambo is gonna take a bit of time. So please do bear with me. I am still trying. I want to get out What If Deku Was Cuphead, and I've postponed this, so I'm probably going to do it now, after this video. Or maybe actually before this, because I might upload this after. You know? Okay. Okay, let's continue. Okay. He never gets hot in summers, but in the winters he stays in his room and fills his room with hot air. And most of the time everyone goes in his room, mostly Remus, because it's the warmest room in the orphanage. And he has a fireplace big enough. And his room is big enough to hold all of his roommates. I'll explain, the orphanage place thingies and, how it works and stuff in a bit later. In the winter, Patton takes care of the work of taking care of everyone. Izuku, when he's stressed, his eyes and whites, the whites, this part, this part. Okay. Will glow, will turn, his eyes and whites will completely go yellow, and his senses go up so he can hear and feel from 5 to 10 blocks away from him. And he passes out after 30 minutes because it gives him a raging headache, and because of hearing a raging headache because of hearing so much sound and movement at once. After some time of experiencing it continuously, he will get better at numbing the headaches, so don't worry, that's in the future. But just as cold weakens him in the warm heat, it strengthens him. There we go. And lets him slowly get stronger in time. Izuku, the calmest and collectivist person there, but when he gets mad like he might kill you, his eyes will glow bright yellow. Not the whites, though. Izuku's ears are pointed. He has scales on one side of his face. He has long hair that reaches to his ankles. Izuku has heterochromia, so he has one brown eye and one yellow eye. Izuku is very protective of his roommates and sees them as his siblings or kids at some point. And that's why when Remy goes out, he just kind of looks at his location from time to time because he's kind of a bit paranoid, but trusts his Remy. At school, he hangs out with his roommates and doesn't care for other people unless they prove that they are loyal and don't have any ill intent. Izuku can read people like a book by looking at their face and hearing what they say, and their tone of voice and other things, and their body language. And being someone who likes to confuse people, he speaks in lies, except when he needs to answer a school-related serious question and when he speaks to his roommates. Roman and Remus are constantly together and never want to be apart, but when they do fight, Remus and Roman go to Izuku, but in different times so they don't have to confront each other. But when they do this, Izuku makes them apologize to each other in the end. And in the end, they make up. Okay, back to the story. Izuku wakes up at 6:45 and 6:45 a.m. and feeds him and his roommates pets. He gets himself ready and starts to make breakfast. At this time, it's 7:20. When mostly everyone wakes up and gets ready, Izuku, after making breakfast, they sit down and eat. After they eat, they go to school and go to classes. After their first class, they go to the rooftop and hang out until lunch and other classes. Izuku thinks to himself that he might have to go for the winter because of how the snow and cold for a while, but they are approached by a boy that is known for picking on people. Izuku says, "You got a staring problem?" The guy says, "Hey, so you're a snake?" Izuku says, "Yeah, I guess." The guy says, "That's useless in battle. You won't even be able to become a hero." Izuku was about to say something, but then the twins got up and Roman says, "No need to fear. From this villain, I and Remus are here." Roman makes a sword and Logan says, "No need to fear. From this villain, me and Remus are here." Roman makes a sword and Logan says, "It's Remus and I, not me and Remus." Roman rolls his eye and says, "Now, villain, you shall be executed." Roman rolls his eyes. Yeah, I think I didn't. Remus says, "I call the redacted on his redacted." Roman says, "Ew, but you do you." They attack the kid and Izuku after 20 minutes of watching. Okay, I think that's enough. Remus, throw that away. That away. Remus says, "Can I at least keep the redacted?" Izuku says, "No." And Logan, "Don't you have a project due in 1 or 2 days or something?" Logan says, "It is due in 2 days, and my professor said that we could start it. Izuku says, what is it? Logan says, I have to draw the human anatomy and the anatomy of frog and compare them, but as you know, I'm not the creative one. Izuku says, Remus, would you like to draw the human and frog anatomy for Logan's project? Remus says, sure. Logan says, that would be greatly appreciated since you are the better one in that department. Remus says, thank me after I did it. Logan says, well, we'll get to it then when we get home. The bell rings and Remus throws the now body into the janitor's closet. They go to class, and that day the body is found, and they let the kids leave for the rest of the day. So they go for a restaurant for lunch. After they go back to the orphanage, and they do their thing. Izuku knew that the winter is coming, so he prepares. Then he hears a loud thud and screaming, and runs out the door to see Roman passed out on the floor, Patton crying in the corner, Remus laughing while holding Logan back, Logan without his glasses and trying to get to Roman, Emily stunned where he stood, and Remy just getting home seeing this sight, and a fully broken jar of crafters on the floor. Izuku yelled, Logan, Roman, Remus, what the hell? Everyone explain. Remy says, Hun? Izuku then looks in Remy's direction and says, the confidence, I like it. I'll be in my room if you need me. He casually walks to his door with his coffee in hand and leaves the room. Izuku sits at the head of the table with the rest of them sitting down in fear. Izuku says, explain. Looks at Patton. Patton says, I was only there for the second part. Izuku looks at Remus and he says, well, I was with Logan and then Roman came in and made a fun of Logan for a bit. But just some tease, and then he said crafters aren't good, and he took a bite and Logan attacked him. And then I was laughing like hell on the floor, but I knew you would beat my ass if I didn't hold him back or something. And then Patton came in and Logan said he was a redacted preschooler, and he went on the floor to sob. Then Roman passed out on the floor, and then you came at the door and yelled at us. And now we're here. Izuku says, thanks, Remus. Logan, no crafters for 2 weeks. Roman, no participating in plays. Remus, no redacting for the next week. Remus says, understandable. They then go back to the room and continue what they were doing. Izuku went back to his room to warm up, and then someone goes to his room and says, hey, Janus, can I stay here with you? Izuku says, oh, Remus, sure, I don't mind. Remus then sits next to Izuku and they cuddle together until they go to sleep. Aw, that's so cute. Like this. Or this. Probably this. Okay. The next day, Izuku sees he's on his bed, but on Remus's chest. He was sleeping too. Izuku blushes a bit and stares at his face before going to do the chores. A bit of the chores and making some food. The school called that the school was canceled for the next 2 months because the police were going to investigate the school. Izuku then hears baby Thomas crying. And when he walks over, he says, what's wrong with you? It's way too early for you to be up. How about I sing you a lullaby? Does that sound good? Baby Thomas giggles and waits for Izuku to sing. Okay. We're gonna do this one.
You'll find something Let's go in the garden. You'll find something waiting right there where you left it, lying upside down. When you finally find it, you'll see how it's faded. The underside is lighter when you turn it around. Everything stays right where you left it. Everything stays, but it still changes ever so slightly, daily and nightly, in little ways, when everything stays.
Okay. It might have not been that loud, so I apologize for that. But it's called Everything Stays. And it's by, the cover is by Ash. That is spelled A-S-H-E. So, yeah. And, it's a Steven Universe song. So, you can, yes, I do like Steven Universe and their songs. And, we're gonna get into this. Okay. Baby Thomas giggles. Wait, no. He sings it and Thomas is asleep. He then walks out to make some breakfast. Logan comes out and says, "Why aren't you changed for school? Are you postponing your dressing?" Izuku says, "No, Logan, the school called me and said that the body that twins made was found and now they're doing an investigation for the next month or two. So, Logan, you can go back to sleep or wait for me to make breakfast." Logan says, "I will stay here." He goes back to his room and to get a book, and then starts to read to himself. Izuku then continues his breakfast. The rest of them sit down at the table, and Izuku gives them the same explanation, and the rest eat their food. And some go back to their rooms, some stay in the living room to watch TV or other activities. Izuku then goes into his room and stays there for the rest of the time until he hears a knock at the door. He then gets bundled up and answers the door and says, "What do you need?" He then looks around to see no one, but then he sees a short little girl at the door that looks that she may be almost freeze to death. She falls in his arms and he catches her. He says, "That was unexpected." Izuku then brings her inside and puts her on the couch and puts some blankets on her. Izuku then calls the instructor of the orphanage to come to his dorm building because he found a little girl at his doorstep. Okay, quick side note. The orphanage has different buildings for a group of kids than for other kids. Izuku is building 8 out of 15. They have counting the main building where the people who want to get adopted go there and wait for staff to lead them to building 1 by one or the kids from the building go there to meet and get adopted by people there. If they find a child, they need to find their parents, make sure they're in the right state of mind, and have a healthy relationship. And if they don't have parents or don't have the best parents, they will stay in the orphanage for the rest of their life until they get adopted. They come to his building and they see a little girl on the couch with blankets on her. And 2 staff come in and say, "Is that her?" Izuku says, "Yes, but before I came, I noticed that she has scars almost everywhere." The staff's eyes then widen, and they knew that's what happened to Izuku. And they then said, "Janus, we will make sure to take care of her." Izuku says, Can I stay with her for a while? One of the staff says, Of course, Janus. They leave, and Izuku gets a medical kit and wraps her wounds. And then he stays next to her for the next 15 minutes before she wakes up. Quick note. He changed his name. She wakes up and says, Who are you? Izuku says, Janus, and you're in an orphanage. I'm the one you passed out on. She says, Oh, sorry. Izuku says, No worries, hon. But what happened to you? She says, I was running away from that place, but they caught me. Izuku says, What's your name, hon? She says, It's Sarah. Izuku says, That's a beautiful name. Can you tell me more about you? She says some facts about herself and he tries to make her feel comfortable. She talks with Izuku and she gets comfortable. He tells her about himself and how he was abused as a child, and she has nothing to be afraid of. And that is the end. My back hurts. So, I'll probably be open. I just had a lisp. Or a stroke. So I'll be posting What If Deku Was Cuphead very, very soon, because I already have 7 pages, because I've been postponing this. And since I was on break or hiatus for like a week or two, I think it's a week, so I didn't post it, so I'll probably be posting soon. Goodbye.